You've mentioned the Breastfeeding Week. Now, the 2019 World Breastfeeding Week's theme is to empower parents and to enable breastfeeding. Why is it important to focus on partners and families instead of just mothers?
Yeah, so World Breastfeeding Week 2019 is slightly different in that, like you said, we focus on broader audiences, not just mothers. And this is important because breastfeeding, although it's done by the woman and her baby, it actually is takes a village to support it and to protect it and also to promote it. So what the evidence has shown, the scientific evidence that's coming out more and more now shows that the support from partners, from fathers, families, and the society at large is actually essential. It makes a big difference if there is a supportive father, for example, in the picture, or a partner. And the family in depending on the context and so on. So we feel that this is the time now, also in terms of gender equality, that we focus on not just mothers, but parents in general.
And just to talk more about parents, because they are very key in breastfeeding, how can we empower them to enable breastfeeding to be more effective?
Yeah, so the first thing about empowerment, which is a very interesting concept, is that parents need information, and that's where both parents, the information that's given to the breastfeeding team, as we call it, that could be antenatally before the baby is born or during pregnancy. Mothers and fathers go for antenatal classes and so on, and they're getting information, and that information should be correct and up to date and also unbiased, not from the formula industry. So information is one aspect that of the empowerment, which is what we are propagating for. And then secondly, that when parents have the correct information to be able to they need to make decisions, and they need to start planning on how they're going to feed their baby, and also to be able to handle the difficulties, the challenges that may arise along the breastfeeding journey. So that is empowering. That's how what we are saying is that we need to give information, and we need to have the support systems in place, both in the healthcare and also in the community, for parents to have somewhere to turn to if they face any difficulties, and also to make it visible in the society and as a public norm, as a social norm, so that breastfeeding parents can feel that comfortable and that it's accepted in the society where they live.
It seems that information is quite key to empowering parents, and this is where the media and the social media becomes important. Do you have any plans to collaborate with the mainstream media or to use social media platforms to share this information with parents?
Yes, we do both with the mainstream media, and I think that the media, in the sense that we also reach out to when we produce the materials, and we have also media in mind, and so we have a media toolkit also that we have on our website, on the World Breastfeeding Week website. And this contains sort of the background information, and also some of the key facts and figures that media may want to pick up on to write articles or to conduct interviews and sort of highlight this year's World Breastfeeding Week theme. In terms of social media, we also have a social media toolkit because, as you know, most of the world is going online, and the social media is very powerful in terms of reaching not only young people, I would say everybody who is connected, and also the ability to share the information with just one click of a button. I think that is the kind of power of the social media, that you can actually multiply or amplify the reach in a way that that is quite amazing. Also, in terms of the mainstream media, I think radio, television, and other channels are really important. So in this way, we hope to reach as many parents as possible. And we also have, during the social media, the World Breastfeeding Week on Facebook, we will have this Ask Me Anything session where we have lined up a range of experts, and the public can actually ask any question that they have to the global experts and get an answer within 48 hours. So that's something that which is quite a new aspect of the campaign.
Now, the 2019 World Breastfeeding Week is also focusing on parental social protection, or PSP. Can you tell me more about parental social protection?
Yes, parental social protection, if you break it down, because it is quite a long, difficult concept, is essentially it's helping parents to deal with some of the major barriers, for example, in their work situation. So it includes then policies and legislation, laws that deal with maternity, paternity, and parental, for example, leave. And here we're also looking at also the parent-friendly workplaces, also both in the formal sector and also in the informal sector. And essentially, it's also looking then at the norms, the values and the norms in the society, that these are gender equitable, that they address both parents and gender equality. So essentially, we feel that parental social protection is the basis for what is needed in terms of the policy at the higher level, the policies and the legislation, and also the attitude, so the broader, higher level issues, so to speak.
So you've talked about an enabling environment for parents or breastfeeding mothers, which is also a focus of the World Breastfeeding Week 2019. What can you describe as an enabling environment?
Yeah, an enabling environment is one that, or an environment where both parents have the support. They have the support, the practical support and informational support that I talked about earlier, that they have, and that information is correct and not just biased from industry who have some profit making agenda. So it has to be information that is scientifically correct, is accurate and up to date. So that's an important part of the enabling environment, but also the rights, that all the rights that exist, like, for example, the right to have maternity leave, the right to have the access to health services, and to have supportive workplace if you're an employee, that you have a flexible and supportive workplace and work environment that supports breastfeeding. Not just breastfeeding, sort of that is, you don't have to go to the bathroom to express your milk or breastfeed your baby. You have a space in the nearby the workplace or at the workplace where you can actually do breastfeed, and you can also express your milk if that's what you choose to do, and store it. And that you have the flexibility, so you can actually take breaks during the workday, and then you can use those breaks to breastfeed or express milk. And another aspect would be to also have a creche near the workplace where the baby can be, and then you can have access to the baby. during the day. But also the protection so that there is no discrimination, that you are not discriminated at the workplace or in your employment situation because you're breastfeeding. Then there's a public norm that when you're out in the public spaces that you can breastfeed, that there are corners, or like, for example, in shopping malls, there are breastfeeding rooms or breastfeeding corners where women can, if they choose to breastfeed in public, then they can go there, or they can breastfeed out in the open, so to speak, and that nobody will come and disturb them or, ask, what are you doing? So the enabling environment is actually one that is supportive in all aspects of the in all sense of the word, and also protective, so that mothers and babies can do this very important act of breastfeeding and feel safe and that they're doing the right thing.
So what can we do to empower parents after the 2019 World Breastfeeding Week?
Well, of course, we're talking about after. After the World Breastfeeding Week is a kind of highlight. So the week itself is a kind of celebration highlight of the campaign. And actually, this should be a year-long action throughout the year. And so what we can do is then to continue the conversations. The focus of World Breastfeeding Week 2019, there's a lot of information and a lot of actions that will take time. So that is about planning how to integrate some of the actions into a more long-term plan, making sure that you actually report and publicize what you are doing, so that can be shared and people can be inspired. So we have this, as I mentioned earlier, the seed grant program, but a lot of the celebrants around the world, they actually do things later in the year. We will also have another, later in October, Ask Me Anything, and we will be a session that we will have on the social media. And so you can join in there and ask your questions, get people to share the information through the social media, and essentially getting your government, if you are in that position, to advocate to your government to commit to supporting breastfeeding at the national level, or getting employers to join in, and trade unions to raise this to a higher level. So there are many things you can do, both on the social media, but also action at various levels.